UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced his government will not be introducing new COVID restrictions in England before Christmas. More than 90,000 cases have been recorded in the past 24 hours as Omicron spreads across the UK. Joining me now live from the UK is Chief Political Correspondent from Sky News, John Craig. John, thank you for joining us. Why has Boris Johnson not imposed restrictions before Christmas?
Well, he says it's because of the continuing uncertainty about several things. One, the severity of Omicron. Two, uncertainty about the hospitalisation rate or the impact of the vaccine rollout or the boosters. And he says because of those, we don't think today that there is enough evidence to justify any tougher measures before Christmas. However, he did go on to say we can't rule out any further measures after Christmas. We're going to keep a constant eye on the data and we'll do whatever it takes to protect public health. Now, that's what he said in a broadcast released by Number 10, a short 1 minute 40-second video. No questions from journalists. He's making a bit of a habit of that in recent weeks. But of course, behind the scenes, he's weakened because of a big rebellion by Conservative MPs last week, around 100 of them. At the weekend, he had suffered the resignation of one of his close Brexit allies, Lord Frost, the Brexit minister. And thirdly, there is the continuing row over here about parties in Downing Street. A lot of them last Christmas and some of them, one of them in May of this year. So a weaker Prime Minister is rejecting the calls from scientists to bring in restrictions now.
And what's been the response from the public? Has there been a general cause for concern? What's the consensus?
Well, the public, as you might expect, is getting a little bit weary of all the, and first of all, the uncertainty, and secondly, the calls for tougher restrictions at a time when many millions of people have had a booster jab. Two initial COVID jabs and then booster jabs. Now, the Prime Minister is desperately trying to get more people to have their booster jab. He said, if you haven't done so already, please drop everything, find a walk-in or go online and make an appointment and get boosted now. There is some evidence that many of the people who are in hospital with COVID are people who haven't had any jabs at all. So the Prime Minister is desperate to try and get more people to get a booster jab. But a lot of people, of course, take the view, well, we were told to have these jabs, we were told to have the booster, and now you're wanting to bring in fresh restrictions. The public have been pretty sympathetic so far, but there is, as you might expect, a little bit of lockdown fatigue. And if next week the Prime Minister does come back with some tough measures, for example, as we've seen already in Wales and Scotland, which are devolved administrations, we've seen, for example, coming in after Christmas, a ban on football fans in stadiums, with curfews in some places, 8 o'clock in the evening, table service only in bars. If the Prime Minister does come in with some of those restrictions, there will be a lot of frustration. And of course, the Prime Minister is in a very weak position, besides the things I mentioned about resignation and also a big rebellion of his MPs. The Conservatives lost a by-election here, a parliamentary by-election last Friday, with a huge 34% swing. So the Prime Minister's popularity is plummeting. There are a lot of Conservatives who think he's no longer the vote winner that he was a couple of years ago. He's in a much weaker position. And that is a key reason why there's no more restrictions before Christmas, and restrictions after Christmas are likely to be unpopular.
All right, John Craig, thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it.